We live in a rush, always moving, always clicking, always missing the moment. But have you ever stopped to think about what we're missing in that rush? The most powerful photographs aren't just taken, they're discovered. So, what if the secret to creating unforgettable images wasn't speed, but patience? You see, photography isn't just about snapping a picture, it's about being present. It's about waiting for the light to shift, the expression to change, or the moment to speak. It's about seeing the details others overlook, slowing down, and connecting with the scene in front of us. When we stop chasing the shot and let the moment unfold, we don't just capture an image, we capture a story, a feeling, a slice of time that speaks to the heart. That's what great photography is all about. It's not about the gear we use, it's about our ability to see, to feel, and to wait. And it all starts with one simple question: how do I truly connect with the moment in front of me? Have you ever looked at a photo and felt like it told a story? Not just an image, but something that seemed to capture the essence of a moment. The most memorable photos aren't about perfect settings or expensive gear, they're about connection. How the photographer connects with the subject, the light, the mood, and the story. In today's world where everything feels rushed, slowing down has become one of the most important skills a photographer can develop. In this video, we'll show how patience and observation can completely transform your photography. We'll explore why rushing often leads to uninspired images, and I'll share practical techniques to help you embrace the power of stillness. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit for creating images that don't just capture what you see, but what you feel. So let's dive in. Have you ever taken a photo that seemed perfect in the moment, well lit, properly composed, and in sharp focus, only to look at it later and feel it lacks something? It's not that anything is technically wrong, but the image doesn't leave an impression. It feels empty, as though it's missing the spark that makes a photo memorable. This frustration is common, and the good news is it's not a question of talent or equipment. It's a matter of how we approach the moment. Too often, we rush. We're eager to capture the scene before it changes, and we snap away without truly observing what's in front of us. Later, when reviewing the photos, we realize they lack depth, meaning, or connection. Why? Because we didn't slow down to see the story within the moment. Photography isn't just about pointing our cameras at something interesting. It's about how we connect with it. Slowing down allows us to notice the subtle details, the way light interacts with our subject, the emotion in an expression, or the fleeting alignment of elements in a scene. It's these details that turn a technically correct photo into one that lingers in the viewer's mind. I'll say it again. It's not about talent or expensive gear. It's about cultivating a mindset of patience and observation. Later in this video, we'll dive into specific techniques like the 5-minute observation timer and the one-shot challenge to help us build this skill. But for now, the key takeaway is this: slowing down isn't just about waiting. It's about seeing more deeply, feeling more connected, and giving our photos the space to stand out and hold meaning. But slowing down is easier said than done, especially when we fall into common habits that sabotage our ability to connect with the scene. These habits, like rushing through a shot, are all too familiar and can leave us feeling stuck, wondering why our photos don't have the impact we hope for. Let's look at these mistakes in detail and explore how we can overcome them. Rushing is one of the easiest traps to fall into. Imagine this. You're standing in front of a beautiful scene, a landscape, a street corner, or even a family gathering. Instead of taking time to absorb the moment, you rush to snap as many photos as possible, thinking quantity will give you quality. But when you review the photos later, they feel flat and uninspired. What went wrong? You didn't slow down to truly see what made the scene special. You captured what was there, but not what it felt like. Pause. Take a moment to look at the scene without your camera. It might feel counterintuitive. You're worried about missing the shot, but slowing down doesn't mean hesitation. It means approaching the moment with intention. Ask yourself, what's the story here? What's unique about this moment? By stepping back and observing, we actually sharpen our ability to anticipate key moments. This practice helps you tune into the scene, the interplay of light and shadow, the small gestures, the fleeting expressions, and puts you in the best position to capture the shot when it happens. Slowing down doesn't mean you'll miss the moment. It means you'll be ready for the moment that matters. Of course, not every situation allows for deliberate pauses. In fast-moving environments like street photography, sports, or wildlife, moments come and go in an instant. However, in this case, slowing down isn't about stopping. It's about being present and aware, observing patterns, anticipating action, and responding instinctively are all forms of mindful photography. Even in these high-energy contexts, taking time to connect with your surroundings beforehand can sharpen your instincts and help you capture the decisive moment when it arrives. Whether you're working in a dynamic or controlled setting, the goal is the same: to engage deeply with the scene, whether through quiet observation or quick intuition. Patience doesn't mean hesitation. It means staying connected to the moment so you're ready to act with purpose when the time comes. Light is the language of photography, but for many beginners, it can feel like an obstacle rather than an ally. In our eagerness to capture the moment, we sometimes try to force it, shooting at the wrong time of day under harsh conditions or attempting to overpower natural light with gear before understanding its subtleties. Forcing it often means ignoring the unique qualities of light in front of us and trying to bend it to fit our vision too quickly. A stunning scene with poor lighting will always fall flat, while ordinary subjects can come alive under the right light. For example, shooting a landscape at midday might leave your photo looking harsh and washed out. But if you wait for golden hour, when the light is soft and warm, the same scene can become magical. Great photography comes from learning when to adapt and when to wait. It's about cultivating the patience to let light reveal its magic, whether by choosing the golden hour, embracing shadows, or recognizing the beauty of diffused light on an overcast day. Learn to read and work with light. Pay attention to its direction, intensity, and quality. Experiment with shooting at different times of day using backlight for drama, side light for texture, or diffuse light for softness. The more we observe and respect the nuances of light, the more we allow it to transform our images naturally. Great light doesn't just illuminate your subject, it breathes life into your photography. Understanding light can transform our photos in the moment, but growth as a photographer also requires looking back. The creative process doesn't end when we press the shutter. It continues in how we reflect and learn from our work. Photography isn't just about taking pictures. It's about growing with each image we capture. Skipping reflection means missing out on opportunities to refine our craft and deepen our understanding of the art. Reflection isn't just technical, it's personal. It's where we uncover patterns in our work, confront our tendencies, and discover what truly moves us. For instance, if your compositions often feel cluttered or your focus is off in key moments, these aren't failures, they're clues. They point to areas where growth is waiting, but without taking the time to review your work critically, these lessons remain hidden and improvement stalls. After every shoot, dedicate time to review your photos with intention. Ask yourself, what worked and why? What didn't, and how could I have approached it differently? Did the final image convey what I felt in the moment? These questions transform a casual review into a powerful learning lesson. But go deeper. Notice patterns. Am I drawn to specific lighting conditions, color palettes, or subjects? Are there recurring distractions or missed opportunities? Recognize these trends, and you'll not only see your photos differently, but also start approaching future shoots with sharper instincts and greater clarity. Reflection isn't about dwelling on imperfections. It's about celebrating progress and building momentum. The time we invest in understanding our work now will lay the foundation for photos that speak louder, feel richer, and connect more deeply in the future. But how do we cultivate this kind of patience and presence? It's not something that happens overnight. It's a skill we can develop through deliberate practice. By incorporating simple techniques into our process, we can train ourselves to slow down, see more, and connect more deeply with our surroundings. Let's explore a few practical strategies to get started. Before you take your first photo, set a timer for 5 minutes. During this time, resist the urge to grab your camera. Instead, immerse yourself fully in the scene. Observe how light interacts with objects. Notice patterns, textures, and subtle movements. For example, in a forest, you might notice how light filters through the leaves or how shadows shift with the breeze. In an urban setting, pay attention to the rhythm of people's movements or the interplay between architecture and light. This practice isn't just about spotting details, it's about recalibrating your perspective. It helps you transition from seeing a scene as a collection of objects to experiencing it as a cohesive story. Use this time to ask yourself, what's the mood here? What draws my attention? What moment feels most alive? When the timer ends, take one deliberate photo that captures what you observed. This single image should distill not just what you see, but what you feel. Over time, this exercise will train you to slow down, observe deeply, and connect more intuitively with your surroundings. This challenge is about trading quantity for quality. Choose a subject and limit yourself to capturing just one photo. Before you press the shutter, study the scene carefully. Look for the most compelling angle, the interplay of light, and the perfect moment to click. For example, if you're photographing a bridge, wait for the light to cast an interesting shadow or for a cyclist to ride across, adding life and motion to your frame. This exercise forces you to slow down and think critically. Ask yourself, what story do I want this image to tell? What's the one element that will make it stand out? By restricting yourself to a single shot, you'll naturally become more intentional, refining your instincts and learning to anticipate the decisive moment. If the resulting image doesn't meet your expectations, reflect on why. Was it a matter of timing, composition, or light? The true value of this challenge isn't in getting it right every time. It's in sharpening your ability to plan, observe, and execute with purpose. Golden hour, the period just after sunrise or before sunset, is beloved by photographers for its warm, soft light and dramatic shadows. But making the most of it requires more than just showing up. Arrive at your location an hour early to scout and plan your composition. Observe how the light interacts with the scene, noting where it creates depth, highlights textures, or enhances colors. As golden hour unfolds, the light changes rapidly. Pay attention to the subtle shifts, how shadows lengthen, how warm tones intensify, and how the atmosphere becomes more inviting. Use this time to fine-tune your composition and adjust your camera settings to match the evolving light. Golden hour light doesn't just illuminate, it sets the mood. Whether you're shooting at a serene landscape, an intimate portrait, or a vibrant cityscape, the soft warmth of golden hour can evoke feelings of nostalgia, tranquility, or drama. The challenge is to stay adaptable and anticipate these changes. Golden hour is fleeting, so plan your shots ahead of time. Use apps to track sunset times, ensure your gear is ready, and embrace the fast pace of this magical hour. This way, you'll be prepared to capture its fleeting beauty before it fades. Photography isn't just about freezing a moment in time, it's about telling a story. And stories take time. Patience allows us to see beyond the obvious and uncover the layers of meaning within a scene. It transforms our approach, making us observers of the moment rather than just recorders of events. Patience reveals beauty in stillness and subtlety. It's in the quiet dance of light across a textured wall, the rhythm of shadows as they shift throughout the day, or the fleeting exchange of glances between strangers on the street. These are the moments that often go unnoticed but carry profound emotional weight. It's not about chasing the perfect shot. It's about being present enough to let the perfect shot come to us. By slowing down, we connect with the scene, the subject, and ultimately ourselves. This connection enriches our photography, allowing us to capture not just what we see, but what we feel. It's what turns a technically proficient photo into one that resonates deeply with others. Patience also teaches humility and adaptability. Not every moment unfolds the way we expect, but in the stillness of waiting, we learn to embrace unpredictability. This mindset not only improves our work, but fosters a deeper appreciation for the world around us. In the end, patience is the foundation for storytelling in photography. It allows us to weave narrative and emotion into our images, creating work that lingers in the minds of others long after the moment has passed. Patience and observation are the foundations for creating photos that stand out. Throughout this video, we've explored how slowing down transforms our approach, helps us connect with our subjects, and captures the essence of a moment. Now it's time to put these ideas into practice. Next time we're out shooting, let's challenge ourselves to wait for the right moment rather than snapping away. Whether it's observing light as it changes, connecting emotionally with our subject, or letting the scene unfold naturally, patience is our greatest tool for elevating our work.